welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Codenamechanel and I'm back, but clearly I'm back with a marriage story time.
My pimpin' got him hooked, pimpin' got him. I see my pimpin' got him hooked, pimpin' got him. My bad, my pimpin' got you hooked, my bad. I'm sorry if my pimpin' got.
If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, then you know it's all love. You guys, this is the Finesse channel where I talk about everything finesse, but I also do story times because I like to talk. But this story time in particular, I've recorded, then deleted. So, you know, the story time that if a lot of you have asked for, some of you probably didn't even know that I was married, but yes, the girl was married. Good time. Hit the notification bell below, please, you guys. So when I make a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. Comment below your thoughts and opinions and any questions that you have. I'm open to answering them about this particular time period in my life. So we're setting the time. The time was, I did a story time on my toxic relationship, right? That was not the guy that I was married to. That wasn't my ex-husband. That was pre-ex-husband, right? So then after that story time, which was very much true, I was single. I just had got this dude that was in the Marines to pay for my laser lipo, and I was snatched right up, you know, but I was really small anyway, so I didn't really have too much snatching to do. But anyway, yeah, I got him paid for my laser lipo, and I was out there in the streets, and I was having a blast. I was living my best life, you know, and on Instagram, one day on Instagram, I got a DM from this guy, and he invited me out. We're gonna call him TJ. So TJ DM'd me, and he said, hey, come to this hookah lounge. And it's a popular hookah lounge that was in San Diego. Like, it was like really the only lit place you could go to if you weren't 21. So TJ invited me out, and he said, bring some friends. So I hit up like 3 or 4 of my friends at the time. Ended up going out, and that night I ended up meeting my husband, but I mean ex-husband now, so whatever. We'll call him, let's just call him X. So I met X, and he was friends with that guy that invited me to the hookah lounge or whatever, and like the guy was trying to talk to me too, but X was like quiet. I'm loud. Like, I'm not always loud, but I'm a lot to deal with. And y'all probably like, duh, Chanel, we know, we watch your channel. Yeah, I like guys that are quiet. And then I seen this other guy that I was dating, and at the time I was dating like 2 other guys. Started dating X, which is my ex-husband or whatever. Still dating someone at the time. So I kind of didn't want to move too fast with X, but we started like texting a lot, and we started hanging out more. He just started buying me things. I just got out of like a toxic relationship where my other ex had destroyed, like when he moved out, he destroyed all of my furniture. And you guys, I'm like, at the time I'm like 18, 19. So it took a lot for me to even get that furniture, and I couldn't just pop up with, you know what I'm saying, some new furniture like that. I didn't have it like that, you know. But priorities messed up because I did go get laser. I did have somebody pay for my laser lipo. But anyway, so when X found out, I kind of told him, like, you know, everything that happened with my other ex. And he was like, oh, well, I'm about to buy you furniture. I'm buying you new TVs, everything. It happened so fast. He was like, yeah, I got you. So he plugged me with like new couches, new TVs, new everything. And, you know, it was really nice. So I kind of started dropping my other guys that I was dating because I was dating him. And you guys, I don't know how long the story is going to be. It's going to be a part 2. But remember the guy. Just please remember the guy from the hookah lounge, because I don't know if we're going to, let's just give the hookah lounge dude a name. We're going to call him Hush, because that's what he should have did. So Hush was kind of feeling some type of way because like I was making it known on social media, never again. You'll never see a dude on my social media ever again. I was making it known on social media, like, you know, I'm rocking with X. Like, this my dude, you know, he was tricking. It was lovely, and like everyone was happy for me. I was super happy, and he just made me like happy. He was still roommates with his friend TJ or whatever. So they would come over every once in a while. And he started just coming over a lot to the point where I was like, oh, well, you might as well just stay here, you know. And when did he move in? I'm trying to think when he moved in. So about time he moved in, like 6 months had passed. And so he moved in and like after 6 months of us dating, he moved in. But then me and him decided like, oh, we should get our own apartment and start fresh, because the apartment that he moved into was the apartment that I used to live with my other ex in. So we started looking for an apartment and had to leave out of town for a while. So I ended up trying to like rush to find an apartment, and I found like this horrible freaking apartment that I regretted getting. And he was literally, the whole time that I was in that apartment, not the whole time, but the majority of the time when I was in that apartment, he was not there because, you know, the job that he was in and what he did for a living. So it was really just me. And of course, he was paying all the bills. Gang, gang. But so keep in mind, we've been dating for almost like, we were dating for a while. And I was going to go to Dallas to see, and so right now we're not married, you guys. This is just me and him dating, right? I was gonna go to Dallas to see like one of my best friends who used to live in San Diego. And the day before I go out there, I get a call from a guy, and he's like crying on the phone. And I'm like, hello, who is this? You know, like, what? You know, it was a lot of tears. And he was like, hey, this is, I'm just going to say Jordan. This is Jordan, and your boyfriend has been seeing my wife. And I'm like, what? Like, first off, how did you even get my number? Like, questions that never was answered. Like, I really don't know how he even got my number. Like, I just don't understand. So we ended up FaceTiming each other, because I thought it was like some type of joke or some type of prank. And he basically said that when X went to Hawaii, that he was dating his wife. I hope I'm not saying this right. So when X went to Hawaii, he was dating Jordan's wife when Jordan and his wife were separated. And then when they got back together, he was still dating her. And he just wanted me to know, because he's seen on social media, y'all, that's why you don't put your business on social media. He's seen on social media that me and X were together, and he just thought he would let me know. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Like, so I confronted X about it. I'm not those type of people that like, oh, I'm gonna keep it for later. I confronted him right away. I'm like, oh, so you're dating some Hawaiian chick or whatever? And he's like, no. Her husband is crazy. I've been stopped dating her. Like, he was like, I don't even talk to her no more. Y'all, long story short, I found out that he was talking to her. Like, I found out, basically, Jordan said, that's the Hawaiian girl's husband, what Jordan said was true. And not only that, the girl had got locked up, and X, whatever, bailed her out of jail. And it was just like, this is toxic. But at this point, I was mad. I changed my flight to Dallas for a longer stay in Dallas. Went out to Dallas to see my friend. That was a whole different fucking mess, because I went out there mad at him, and I wasn't happy out there. Like, I was pissed. I was, drunk, and I had an attitude the whole time because I was mad at him and I was running away from the situation. So when I did end up going back, when I went back to San Diego, I was talking to my sisters, and basically, like, they was like, you need to decide on what you want to do, blah, blah, blah. When I got back to the house, he wasn't there. I put all my stuff up out of my suitcase. I never do that. Like, I just want to let y'all know, I never put all my stuff. I leave my suitcase out for weeks, and I still do that till this day. But for some reason, I just put all my stuff, trying to figure out, like, I feel like I was trying to clear my head and stuff like that. I woke up to everyone texting me. Y'all, this is crazy. So I woke up to everyone texting me, like, congratulations. And I'm like, what? Well, X, he ended up putting a ring on my finger and making a post on Instagram saying, like, she said yeah, and da-da-da. Even though I was asleep, how would I even say yeah? But, so I had, bling bling on. I I had an engagement ring on my finger. And then I get up, I go out the room or whatever. And he on his hands and knees. He's like, can you forgive me? Like, I want you to be my wife. I want to marry you. I'm sorry. Da da da. Blah blah blah. Right. So I'm like, I guess, I'm like, whatever. But might as well. And and at the time, like, I was thinking too. I was like, I want a future with somebody or whatever. Like, might as well be his wife, and he spend money. And he takes care of me, and like way of thinking, because I wasn't even in love with him. Like, not one time did I just say like, oh my God, it was the love for him. It was really the security. After that, it wasn't like I didn't trust him. I was never looking through his phone and stuff like that. But he started being the one that didn't trust me, like, because I forgave him too easily, So he started being the one that didn't trust me, and this is like, y'all, it's a lot. So he kept trying to like move the date up. And at the time, me and one of my sisters, like, me and my sisters are close, but at the time, me and her were like kind of bickering with each other. So I didn't want to move the date up because I wanted to make sure that I was good with my sister before I got married. And I wanted to I wanted to plan like a wedding and stuff like that. And then he was just like, oh, well, he's leaving again, like, for work. And he was leaving like for how long was he leaving? This time he was leaving for like 5 or 6 months. So he was like, I want to get married before I leave. We did a small ceremony. We did on the beach, or like not a beach, but like the bay. And he was like, I want my best friend, my brother to be there. And then your brother and whoever you want to be there. So it just happened so fast, and it was like really like kind of rushed. So only his best friend and his brother and his girlfriend was there, and then my brother and his girlfriend was there. But neither one of my sisters was there. My best friend at the time wasn't there. Like, I don't know. That just really like sucked. I just was like, this is not a good idea. Especially not with my sisters not being there. My sisters weren't there. What was I thinking? But you guys, I was young. So anyway, we ended up getting married. Huge mistake. And I think he felt that way too. Because right after we got married, I started going out like a lot. And I started like just, I was just out there. I was just out in the streets having fun. And no, I was not cheating. But I was out clubbing all the time, like even more than I was not even clubbing when we first were just dating. I was not clubbing, but after we got married, I started clubbing more, and he was like away all the time. We would argue about like the dumbest things, but one of the things that really like pissed him off was me going to get my body done when I went to go get lipo, and he was like, you don't need lipo. Who you trying to get lipo for, these niggas? And da-da-da-da. So, we got into it over that. Like, we did. I'm not gonna lie. So, that was one of the big fights we had. And then another fight so, one day when I was working at the outlet mall, he calls me and he's like, da-da-da-da, are you effing da-da-da-da? And I'm like, who? And he's like, are you effing da-da-da-da? Like, they know they know what type of car you drive, da-da-da. He know this and know that. Like, I know you effing him. I'm like, who told you that? And he's like, somebody from here told me this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And I hung up on him because, like, I don't really I'm not argumentative. I say this all the time. I'm not going back and forth with nobody. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I'm not the jury. So I just hung up, and then he pulled up to my job, basically made a scene, kind of sort of snatched me up. And he wasn't even that type of person. But yeah, he kind of sort of snatched me up and accused me of, and I'm like, in the day and age of recording and screenshots, where is the proof? Where is the text message? If this guy supposedly pulled up on, where is the proof? You didn't ask for none of that. So these guys are lying. They're haters. Of course, like I told you guys, remember this name, Hush, from the hookah lounge that I was dating a while before. He told him that me and him were still like smashing. Lie. It was a lie. There's no receipts, so it was a lie. Nevertheless, so I guilted him. I was like, you know what? You sitting here coming up in my job, embarrassing me about some guys hating on us, and and all, I was like, about something irrelevant. You believe anything a motherfucker say? Like, they see how you get, so that's why they tell you that. So I just remember going off on him. And the next day I woke up with a new challenger, and it was kind of like that's how it was. Like, we would get into an argument. He'd always be wrong because I'm always right, and I would get like a gift or something nice, blah blah. And that's kind of how like even the proposal happened. So it was a time where I was just like, I'm not like happy with you. And I remember him telling me like, no, you gotta realize I don't like you like that. This is after we've been married. I'm like, okay, well, I never loved you. This is us going back and forth with each other, like toxic. Like, we moved into a new, really, really nice apartment or whatever. And we wanted to like save for a house or whatever because we were gonna move out of California. And he ended up like leaving for work again, and our lease was up. So this is kind of like one of the bad things. Like, I felt like I always was in this marriage doing everything by myself. Like, that's how I felt. And as time went by, like so much time went by, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's always me packing, moving, because we were moving so much. And it's always like, I'm always alone. I felt always alone. I just felt like we didn't even like each other. Like, I honestly felt like that. Like, I did not love him, and I don't think that we liked each other like that. And I feel like it was very like, our marriage was based off of lust and not love. And I think we were both like attracted to each other, but we just both didn't really like, our personalities just did. Sagittarius, and I always say Sagittarius are selfish, but what are Taurus? What are we? You know what I'm saying? Hard-headed, shallow, materialistic, money hungry. Nevertheless, he left, and he started talking to this one girl who worked close by my job that I was working at. At the time, I was working at a hotel in like a very like affluent, nice area in San Diego. And the girl that he was talking to, the mistress, let's just call her the mistress he was talking to, ended up coming up to my job, showing me a pregnancy test, telling me that she was pregnant by my husband while I was at work. And I'm like, why do y'all disturb me while I'm at work? Like, y'all can't do nothing after I get off. Like, y'all have to disturb me while I'm at work. So she told me this, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was embarrassed a little bit, so I didn't really tell like any of my family members. I was just kind of like trying to clear my head, and then I was gonna confront him and stuff. And like, she pulled up receipts about them. I just took it all in, and my response to everything and my way to cope with everything back then was to party. So I went and partied. I went out. I was like out having a blast, and I ended up reconnecting with the guy who paid for my laser lipo, so the Marine dude. And we like ended up like talking and texting and things like that. And X ends up finding out. So he tried to be like, oh, I know he was cheating on me, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, so are you. And this girl saying she pregnant by you. And he was just like stone face. He was like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, here's her name. Here's her pictures. Yeah, she said she's having your baby. And what really kind of hurt me a little bit was that I told him, like, well, we weren't using, we were married, so we weren't using protection. TMI. So he really wanted a kid, and I really didn't, but I felt like, okay, we're married. If I have a kid, it happens, but I've never wanted kids. And I told him that before we got married. So when I found out that she was pregnant, it did hurt. Like, I'm not, it's like I have feelings, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. So I'm done. Divorce. Like, I'm over this. Like, it's just hurtful because it's like, I know at the same time, like, he tried to act like he was so mad. That's not my baby, not my baby. But like, after all the times of like him like wanting to have a baby and like us being together for so long, and I wasn't getting pregnant, I think that he was kind of like happy about it a little bit. Like, just a teeny bit. And I didn't, and honestly, I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, she needs to get an abortion, da, da, da. No, I just felt, I mean, I'm not going to tell somebody to kill a child because it's not the child's fault. So whatever they was deciding to work out, if that was his baby, then it was whatever. But I just know, like, mentally, I was moved on. So back to the Marine dude, me and him started like, and this is somebody who I felt like, even though I've never been in love, I felt like this was like the closest thing to me being in love with somebody was with him. And seeing each other, and I started going, like, spending time with him like I was never at my apartment. And he comes back and he tells me one day, like, oh, well, girl had a miscarriage or whatever, and, you know, so he, you know, you never know if that's his baby or not, like, whatever. So the girl had a miscarriage, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, I don't know, I don't know how to react to that. I was like, oh, okay, well, and then she was still, keep in mind, she was still blowing me up, contacting me, saying that they were still sleeping together, and that she didn't have a miscarriage. She got an abortion. Again, TMI, none of my business. So, yeah. Sorry, I mean, literally none of my business. I don't know how to even wrap that up. Nevertheless, so with his job again, he had to leave. He left my lease. This is like the 90th time the lease is up. And this time I'm like, I'm not doing this no more. Moving into a whole new apartment. I'm putting everything in the storage and I'm going to live with my sisters until you get back and we figure out what to do next. So while I put all my stuff in the storage, I really went to go live with the Marine dude. Messy. This is why I record this story time, then delete it. Anyway, messy. So I was mostly staying with the Marine dude, and I was driving back and forth, and then I was also staying with my sisters too. And one day, but I just decided, like, let me log into his Facebook. He uses the same password for everything. It was his sister's name and her date of birth. So I logged into his Facebook, and you guys, it's the scandal for me. Like, he was just like, the way that he was cheating, like the way that he was out there, and then, like, you know, I'm in a whole relationship, in a marriage, like, oh gosh, ghetto. But it was just like, okay, this is it for me. This is like, we don't need to be married no more. Like, at this part, we don't need to be married no more because it's not beneficial. Because there's men spending money all day, every day. Like, at this point, it's like, I'm done. It's a wrap. And so I decided, because he was messaging this one girl so freaking much, and he was talking about marrying her and all this stuff. So I'm like, let me call her.
And let me just add this in. The reason why I called her was because I was trying to tell him I wanted a divorce, and he was not answering my emails, phone calls, nothing. So I contacted her.
And I'm like, hey, girl, you know, this is Chanel. You're sleeping with my husband. And I just want to know, like, how long have y'all, you know, been sleeping together, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm trying to get everything prepared for the divorce. And she was like, oh, I didn't know he was married, but he's on the other line if you want to, you know, talk to him. Talk to him. And I know some of y'all gonna be like, what? I didn't talk to him. Him being on the other line. But she did. Of course, she told him that I called. And then he was like blowing me up and all of these things. And then with the Marine dude, he was kind of like pressuring me to, like, look, you need to get a divorce. You need to live here with me. We need to be together. And then he was moving to Virginia. So he was like, come move to Virginia with me. And I was just like, no, I need to figure some things out. Like, I can't hop into another relationship. So I broke it off with the Marine dude. And I woke up one day. I filled out this application for an apartment in Dallas. I got approved. And the next day, I drove from San Diego to Dallas. And I told my sisters, like, I literally told my sisters right when I was, like, doing it. And my older sister, I know she was sad, but I had to do. And I had to, like, you know, so all the stuff that was in the storage, just FYI, I sold everything. His stuff I gave to his best friend. And that's the TJ dude that I told y'all at the beginning. I gave it to him. And I drove to Dallas. And the rest is history. If you guys want to know part 2, the rest is history. But if you guys want a part 2 where I kind of like explain what happened after and if he chased me and all that, y'all can get a part 2. But as for that, that's the end of this story time. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I promise y'all, I done recorded this story time since I started my YouTube. And when I had 1,000 subscribers and I deleted it. And I just hope that this, like, I don't know. I hope that you guys, you know, get a little tea from my life. Kind of understand where I be coming from sometimes. And follow me on social media, Codenamechanel. Join my Patreon if you want to see more of me. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you guys have any questions or y'all just like, damn Chanel, then just be like, damn Chanel. But I'm out. Hope you guys enjoy this. And I'm out. Is it the lip for you guys? Because it's a lip for me. And I'm out.